Hi everyone, and welcome back to Resource Spotlight, where I share practical and inspiring home ed resources that we've been using in our home ed journey so that it can cover a lot of different subjects and there might be something out there for you. This week's feature is all about giraffes, geography and getting hands-on with Lego. We started with this beautiful book, The Giraffe That Walked to Paris by Nancy Milton. And this book turned into a mini unit for us, which was all about history, creativity and a trip to the zoo. The book is based on a true story. It's about a giraffe that was gifted from Egypt to the King of Paris at the time. It goes on to tell you about the giraffe's journey, and she is the first giraffe that ever stepped foot in Europe and lived in Europe. The book itself is really engaging, it's beautifully illustrated, and it is full of cross-curricular potential. I'd say the target age for this group was around anywhere between possibly like 5 or 6 up to maybe 10 or 11. Younger children can enjoy the story and the beautifully illustrated pages, and the older children can maybe dive more deeper in and look at the geography and the history of the actual story itself. This book is great for introducing things like animals, culture, history, geography. It's got quite a lot going for it just from this little storybook. So what we did for our mini unit, we started by reading the book aloud as a group, and then we had a little discussion about it. We got our globe out and we looked how far the giraffe had travelled. We also spoke about how there were no planes or trucks back then, and what different ways you could travel from one place to another, so on foot or by boat, things like that. And then after we did that then instigated some creativity, and we decided that we were going to have a go at making our own little giraffes. And these are I'm breaking them. These are the little giraffes the girls have made. So here's Hazel's, and she's done a giraffe here. There we go. This is her creation. And Rachel made this one here. We looked at the shape of a giraffe, we looked at its different patterns, and we looked at how it stands and how it walks, and then we challenged the girls to go and make their own giraffes. It was actually quite fun because I also joined in on this challenge and really, really enjoyed it with them. It was something that we could sit and do together. So if you've got younger children, I'd definitely say, after reading the book, if you wanted to sort of expand on it, the Lego was a really good way in, and also physically looking at our globe and putting little stickers on to say where they travelled was really interesting for them and gave them a bit of sense of geography. We also bought a really simple book that was all based on facts on giraffes, mainly for Hazel, who is 7, because she has just started reading books by herself independently, but really easy reader books. If I can find out what that book was, I will link it in the comments as well, if that helps, because it gave nice basic facts, and it was something that she wanted to explore. She wanted to know more about giraffes, what they ate, where they lived, what their natural habitat is, and lots of things like that, which also then led us on to taking a trip to the West Midlands Safari Park, which is in the West Midlands, of course, which was really, really good because we got to drive around and see the giraffes up close. There's lots of other places in the UK that you can visit giraffes as well, but I'd highly recommend it. As we visited, it was a nice fun day out, and it was also something that was nice to go and do after reading the book and doing the Lego challenge, and also reading up on facts about giraffes. We also touched base with some geography. We looked at where Paris was on the globe, and also Egypt. We looked at some YouTube videos exploring Egypt and the pyramids and different culture. We talked mainly with my children, who were 7 and 5. They were more interested about giraffes and the animal itself, but I could see where the book could lead on to history, about Egypt or Paris. For more extended learning, after we got back from the zoo, we had the girls write a few sentences and draw a picture of their visit. So we asked them what their favourite thing was, and they drew it, and we also asked them if they could write something about their day and draw something that was memorable to them. So it got them into doing a little bit of writing and also recalling what they'd seen and visited that day. Other ideas leading on from this book that we didn't do but maybe you might like to. You could paint your own giraffe, you could do your own giraffe artwork. You could maybe even do your own little travel journey and decide with a parent or a carer and plan a little journey from maybe, I don't know, your house to into town, and then write about it, just like the giraffe went on a journey and said, you could say what transport you used.
So, a giraffe's spots are not all the same. Never all the same. And even when they look similar, they might look the same, but they're not. I liked when the king saw the giraffe.
You liked when the king saw the giraffe? Yeah.
Because he was like...
He was really shocked.
And here's a map to get to.
Yeah, it showed you a map how far she'd been on her journey. Where is she now? Do you know?
In the museum.
That's right.
She died.
She died, yeah, she did. And then what happened to her? How did she get in the museum?
They brought her to the museum.
She'd been taxidermied, hadn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favourite bit about going to the zoo?
Seeing the tiger cubs.
The tiger cubs. It was really interesting, wasn't it? So to wrap this resource spotlight up this week, the Giraffe That Walked Paris book was brilliant for us. It was a really engaging story, and it led off into so many different questions and areas of learning. Even though it was like a mini project, it was really, really good for the girls, and it just gave us something to go new and explore and delve into. It was really nice that we were able to wrap it up with a trip to the zoo as well at the end. And I'd highly recommend it, even just as a storybook. I think it was a really, really, really good book to read. So yeah, if you've got another animal themed book that you think would be good for us to read or have a look at,
like maybe a lion.
Like a lion, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to know if you've read any and it's sort of led you on to any more extra learning. That would be fantastic. Thank you for joining me on my resource spotlight. I hope you're enjoying it. If there's any other subjects you'd like me to have a look at, please let us know down below. And I should mention, if you'd like to join us for any more of our resource spotlights that we're using throughout our home ed journey and that I think are really, really good and want to share, have a look at our playlist that we're currently setting up. I'm sure there'll be some more. If you could click that subscribe button and ding dong that bell, give us a thumbs up. We'd love to see you on the next one. Bye.